mate, and welcome to Friday Facts number 438. This is Base Age Wrap Up, and I'm going to be wrapping up the Friday Facts with my good friend Mojo. How you doing, mate?
Hello. How we doing?
We're doing all right, but good news, bad news. Good news is another Friday Facts. Bad news is this is going to be the last Friday Facts for a little while.
Yeah.
Because Mojo has promised he's never going to do them with me again. He hates me. He's been dragged through this for I don't know how long, and he said that's it. Also, they stopped publishing Friday Facts shortly.
Yeah, that also doesn't help.
Yeah, that's probably the main reason. So, the Space Age soundtrack update. The album's been greatly updated on Steam. Soon it will be in the game also, so it hasn't made to the game yet. And this is a second disc labeled Original Game Soundtrack. There's all the soundtrack found in the game, properly blasted, 50 tracks in total. Finally be able to favorite your favorite track in the album for sure. The interludes are not included because they're composed just for the game to properly jump from one track to another without breaking anything. Not convenient for the album. And when we started the project, we had a deal with Peter covering 1 hour of music per planet. 5 hours in total seemed at the time like a lot of music. Now the soundtrack is completed, we can probably say each planet length is finally over an hour for Space, hour and a half for Vulcanus, 2 hours for Gleba.
Nearly 2 hours for Gleba, yeah?
Yeah, for Gola, hour and 45, and over 2 for Aquilo.
Somehow Aquilo gets 2 hours.
So we've had a chat about this. The space one is spacey. I like space. Space is fine. Vulcanus...
But now I know why it's repetitive, because it's only an hour.
Well...
It's always the same soundtrack.
They're technically not in the game yet, so there's going to be more added to the game.
That's true, yeah.
Remastered or whatever. But space, I think space you just spend a lot of time in. I think that's the issue.
You do spend a lot of time in space.
Vulcanus, hour and a half, I actually don't have a problem. There is some real banger, like combat, heavy drums music that really seems fitting on Vulcanus, especially if you happen to be arguing with a Demolisher at the time. Very much seems fitting. Gleba... I think Gleba, the music is very calming and it needs to be dealing with Gleba.
It calms you down.
Yeah, it's the only thing probably stopping you rage quitting sometimes. Probably. Although...
It breaks up the monotony.
I've seen the amount of people rage quitting from Gleba and just refusing to touch it, and I gotta say, I love Gleba. It's the best planet. I really, really enjoyed solving the problem that is Gleba.
I don't get the hate with Gleba. Everyone memes on it, but I've been getting... I'd known it for a while, but I've been getting more on it lately. Aquila was the true Gleba.
Well... Okay. Fulgora. You've got me. You've made me bad, Mojo. Fulgora. I always keep saying Fungola because it's full fun and games until you get hit by lightning. Fulgora.
And even then, it doesn't really matter. Lightning's so irrelevant unless you have poor bots outside of lightning coverage.
It's very irrelevant for the basic Logibots. They don't generally survive. So if you happen to have two islands close to one another, and you get some trans-island scrap, it's bad for a bot every now and then. It's also bad for you
just craft new ones
if you don't have shields. Well, the answer is you should have had quality modules in your assembler, therefore you'd have a chance of getting an uncommon one. Uncommon one at least survives a lightning strike.
It survives the first one.
Well, generally they don't get hit by lightning twice. Generally.
I was going to say, and that's enough, because lightning doesn't strike twice, does it?
Not in the same spot, or the same bot, providing it repair packs.
Just as a side note, the opposite is actually true in reality.
Lightning generally hits the same spot over and over?
Yes. If it hits it once, it's going to hit it again.
Yeah.
Unless it blows up.
Unless it's no longer there to get you the second time.
Which usually what happens, which is why it doesn't strike it twice.
And then Aquilo, you think Aquilo's the real Gleba?
Yeah.
I did Aquilo recently on stream. I didn't mind Aquilo. Aquilo was fine. The heating plants, the fuel, the everything. I designed a smart grid. It works. I just paste it down and it heats everything. I actually thought Aquilo was great.
And then you're done with it forever.
Yeah, Aquilo, there's not much there.
Yeah, there's nothing there, and and what little you have to do, you got to wrangle heat pipes in among it. It's not really. It's kind of dull.
It just means that yes, every build you need to think differently about, and you need to space it out a lot more because you're going to put heat pipes everywhere. And then once it's done, and that's the thing with Aquilo. There's no there's no real resources to get or anything. The hardest thing is to actually make sure that you can get resources there constantly to craft the stuff on Aquilo, because you can't have, and they all need external resources, and then you need to take the stuff that you're making on Aquilo elsewhere. It's like a pit stop.
And Aquilo needs to make a few things that are dependent for the rest of the solar system.
Yep.
So you have to bring a lot of stuff in as well.
Yeah. And I have one ship. It's just automated. It just takes stuff out there, drops off stuff, comes back, or picks up stuff from Aquilo at the same time, brings it back. And actually, I've got a space station. I've got a space station parked above Aquilo that's making blue circuits, low density structures, rocket fuels on Aquilo already, so it's easy. I found Aquilo to be boring. Anyway, so there is 8.5 hours of ultra-fine Factorio music, perfectly mastered to enjoy in the game and outside too. Have in mind that 10 of the soundtracks are mixed procedurally in the engine, making the composition variable each time it plays in the game. For the album, we've rendered the average version of each variable track in order to complete the album experience. In the time length in the game can easily surpass the total time in the album, especially if you count the interludes, also directly mixed directly in game. So that's the automated music that was mentioned many Friday Facts ago.
Quite a few, yeah.
So if they can count the original mix, which they mentioned a couple of Friday Facts ago, which is Peter's selection of his 17 favorite tracks, all remixed by himself in album format, which has a total length of 2 hours, plus what they've just added, that's 10 hours worth of Factorio music. This is probably the best value soundtrack you're ever going to buy.
Yeah, I think that's probably up there for soundtracks.
Yeah, 10 hours worth for $10.
Except for maybe like the StarCraft or Warcraft 2 soundtrack.
I think they're going to be more expensive. And less music.
There are ways around that.
I said valuable. I said value. So yes.
True, you got to actually buy those
Yeah,
nowadays.
there's a lot of music. A lot of music for $10. 10 hours for $10. Can't argue with that.
Yes.
All right. On with the next part of the Friday Facts, which is something we've mentioned a few times. I still remember us saying something about 150 bugs in the forums when they did Friday Facts 360, and the media taking as Factorio 1 is still a little bit on the buggy side, which was the title and heading that so many people used as a copy paste, where they referred to Factorio 1.0 is out and it's full of bugs because they had 150 in the forum. They allowed the release of
which in and of itself was not a lot.
No, it was nothing. It was literally nothing. They allowed the release. All the bugs with tiny corner cases, inconsistencies, or something that almost never happens, which they took a look at anyway, but it doesn't make the game really bad. I've actually posted a bug report myself, which turns out if you move a cargo bays on a spaceship in editor mode when it's between planets, and it planned on launching a rocket out of that cargo bay. When it arrived at the next planet, and you've deleted it and moved it, and then replaced it, and you arrived at the next planet, the Factorio did a hard crash. Turns out,
I was going to say, that sounds like it's going to crash the game.
It does. It hard crashes. Turns out by the time I posted the bug report, it had already been fixed.
Yeah. So I actually had a similar bug, which was to do with the fluid pipe to grounds loading inconsistently, and I went to all the trouble of figuring out. Well, half the trouble was figuring out what the hell was going on, and then figuring out it wasn't me. And by the time I'd figured out what was going on, it was already fixed.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, you post a bug report, they're generally fixed very quickly. So yes, experience doesn't stop us from being transparent. At this moment, we have 800 plus bug reports on the forums, but then again, not many are serious bugs. There's a lot of duplicates, and many are even features. When looking at our own resolved bugs forum, we've fixed more than 625 bugs, bug reports since release, and since we prioritized the more critical ones, the game should be pretty okay for a vast majority of people. Yeah, I don't think a bug of you deleting something and moving it in editor mode is really high priority. Yeah,
it's a very specific bug.
It's a specific bug that you're not going to encounter during normal gameplay. Really, it's
a user error issue.
Yeah, well, I had no idea. that caused the problem. And at the end of the day, the fix is without them fixing it, is copy the ship, delete the ship, paste the ship, solved. It's in edit mode. It takes 2 seconds.
Actually, as a side note, do you remember when you used to just twist and contort your way around hard crashes in games?
Yeah.
You'd always do stuff in a particular way to avoid it crashing because you know that it would never be fixed.
Yeah. There's been a number of
Just randomly reminded me of that.
There's been a number of games throughout I've played over the last 2 years that have been in early access where I've encountered a game-stopping bug that I've had to work out what the bug is, how to reproduce the bug, tell the devs, and then work out how I can continue a series or a stream or whatever around said bug. Otherwise, it's just dead in the water. Or problems. I'm going to go back to Oni because Oni has been the best bug-ridden game that I have continued playing for quite some time. Oni has had a long list of bugs that you've just had to work out how to play around them forever. I can say that a lot of the ones that have been in the game for a very long time are actually getting fixed now. There were a number that were really annoying that are now actually being corrected. One of the things was pathfinding. Pathfinding became a really massive issue as the game got more optimized. The problem was that Pathfinder sucked still. So dupes would spend half their time thinking about what to do next. That's been massively improved in the last update.
Dashing backwards and forwards and changing their mind.
They added something to the game that was pondering time, which was you could actually see a duplicate's idle time because they were waiting on the Pathfinder to work out what the task scheduler and the Pathfinder to work out what the hell they were going to do next. Yeah, they put that in there as a stat so they could track it, and then they got around to improving it.
Last time I played the game, there were 2 occasions where there was a down dupe and the dupes wouldn't take them to a medical cot.
That one did not deserve to survive.
Yeah, that one.
That one did not deserve to survive. That dupe asked for it, got it, received it, and wasn't going to make it out the other side. It was already predetermined. That's how fate works, Mojo.
I mean, one of them, yeah, because they walk through lava. The other one, not so much. I mean, I told them to move away. Well, I suppose, yeah, they went back into the steam and burnt themselves, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, look, some dupes have an extra brain cell and some don't, okay? It's the ones with the extra brain cell that survive. 2 makes them twice as smart. Okay.
I mean, arguably all of the dupes that I sent to scoop them up and just stood there and then ran away, admittedly don't really have a brain cell either. They don't have the extra brain cell.
Yeah, that's right. Eventually you'll print one that has 3 brain cells and you'll be set. All right, so the next steps for Factorio.
Real 5-head, that one.
Yeah. We'll continue clearing the bug reports until even the smallest things are sorted out or the tiny things discarded, which will take around 2 months at least, they figure. Once this phase is done, we want to start prepping for the major release for the foreseeable future, at least for Factorio 2.1. We don't even know exactly.
2.1.
Yeah, the good old 2.1. So we don't know when this will be, but there are some more risky changes related to mod interface, quality of life, graphical tweaks. Basically, the changes too big for putting it at 2.0 stable. But don't expect anything too huge, like big content add-ons. It'll be mainly just finishing touches or cool little widgets for allowing for more contraptions. So they're going to say...
Compatron?
Did I say a couple of months? Yeah, they said 2 months. So they're going to say 2 months. So I'm going to say it's 2 months of woob time. So March will probably be fix the smaller things, and then we'll look at 2.1. So
yeah, we'll know about 2.1 in March. Sounds about right.
We'll know what they have planned for 2.1 in March. Yeah, maybe.
It'll be like a year. 6 months to a year for 2.1.
I think middle of next year.
Maybe not a year.
Middle of next year we'll have 2.1, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long.
I don't, but I know Woob moves at Woob speed. I have no problem with Woob speed. Like, we've waited a long time for Space Age. It's been worth the wait. But Woob moves at Woob speed. So that brings us on to the Friday Facts. After more than a year of continuously weekly Friday Facts, we feel like it's a good time to stop for now. Fixing bugs doesn't really emit that interesting topics, and we prefer to focus on the work now. I can imagine publishing some Friday Facts closely to some Friday Facts once 2.1 development is underway, if we have some interesting things to show or whenever we have something important to say, which I guess is reasonable. I sort of miss the weekly insights, but yeah, I got to admit, the last couple of Friday Facts have been a little bit short, boring.
Yeah, and I mean, we have been saying that, like, yeah, there's not really anything left to talk about, so I don't know what it'll be. And
It's made it hard to predict what's coming next week because there's just not a lot of So Factorio's collectively played over 88,000 years on Steam only, which is funny because I don't think I've booted Space Age in Steam. Yep. Ever. No, I haven't.
So probably at least triple that once you count non-Steam hours.
Yeah, which is more than double since last time we checked in Friday Facts number 365. Yes. When was 365? 2021. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Factorio is one of those few games where you pay more in electricity to play the game than you pay for the game. Yeah.
Yes.
I won't bother with all the statistics this time, but we moved from 0.34 lines of code per one buyer to 0.24 lines of code per one buyer. So we're getting more efficient, I guess. That's insane.
I don't really understand the point of that statistic, but it's a statistic nonetheless.
It's a statistic. They're not always made to make sense. Look at anyone that's used in advertising. They're not made to make sense, and they're probably the exact same statistic read in two different ways to mean in two entirely different things, but it's all how it was presented in the ad. So, tests. I want to restate, without our almost 6,000 automated tests, we would never be able to avoid reintroducing old bugs by fixing new bugs, and we hope it gets more recognized by gaming companies. We will recognize this as the gold standard. Here's an updated video showing all the current tests we have in a 4x4 parallel grid, which we're only going to play a little bit of. But I have to admit, I have chatted to a number of devs in the last 2 years, and there is an awful lot of them that have started adopting this sort of approach to game dev and writing tests to test whatever base features that are not going to be changed, things they're done with. And yes.
Don't you just feel the bottom left one?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell it's testing.
Stuck at 95%.
It's on the wrong CPU
but yeah,
core.
It's just automated testing of your code in general, or your software in general, is a good idea.
Yeah.
It is not easy to implement as well.
It's not, because you need to write the game, write the feature, write the whatever, and then you need to write a test to make sure it still works and it doesn't fail. Like the one down here is the pentapods walking through odd positioning to make sure their pathfinding still works, and it goes through a whole bunch of wall and around things, and and then does the same test with spiders. Technically, it's a different amount of legs, so therefore it's a different pathfinder, so therefore it's a different test. Yes. The automated test is
somewhere in there is a bunch of demolishers too.
Oh, I missed it. But I just saw the pentapod ones because there was a big chunk of walls. Because you could at one stage block them with a big chunk of walls. Walls actually work against pentapods. I actually didn't think so. Originally, I just assumed they'd literally step on them. Turns out they don't step on them; they step around them or over them.
Yeah, they step over them.
Yeah, I hadn't bothered with walls.
I'm guessing that's because they can't step onto, like, the legs collide, so they can't step there.
I just assumed a big stomper would just put its foot on a wall and the wall wouldn't be there.
Put its foot down.
Yeah, I just assumed it would be 100% delete wall, one hit, right? And that's how it had been programmed, and just that was it. So I hadn't bothered with walls on Gleba. Turns out walls on Gleba, very helpful. Very, very helpful. So yeah, automated test. I have to say, every dev that has implemented it, it worked wonders. It worked wonders. They have reintroduced less bugs. There have been a few that I've caught, but yes. So, this is one of the most frequent questions I'm getting. Oh, so what's after? What's coming next? As question Kovacs got a lot. They're not really sure, but they're playing with different kinds of ideas for next game. Will we figure out something worth doing? Maybe to clear my head and gather a little bit of inspiration. He's decided to go back to WoW. Fresh World of Warcraft? I don't know what Fresh World of Warcraft is. It sounds like a server reset on the fresh server. On a guild
it'll
factory
be new character, I'm guessing.
I have no idea. Game I'm thinking about is related to WoW in a similar way as how Factorio is related to Minecraft, which the history is...
Having said that...
Yep.
Sorry, I should preface that by saying I don't know anything about WoW, and I don't follow WoW, so...
I don't follow WoW either. Yeah. But I should preference that with Factorio came in a concept because of Minecraft. So it originally was inspired by a Minecraft mod, right?
Yep. For those that understand it, BCIC2.
Yeah, I don't. It was some Minecraft mod that
It's
added
going to trigger some memories in some people.
really bad automation, much complaints, but that led to the birth of Factorio. So the fact that
Yep.
Covarex is saying that
Mechanism was 10 million times better.
what?
That was another automation mod in Minecraft.
Okay, it was some
PCIC2 was Buildcraft and Industrialcraft 2. Industrialcraft 2 became GregTech, which is the sadness and misery it is now.
that
That
Mojo's
it
complained
devolved
about
into.
lots about. Yep, that much I know.
Yeah, I have this thing of where what went wrong with gaming is centered around GregTech.
It's Mojo's clever.
And yes, it's the True Glebber. It's
Yep.
the other True Glebber.
Yep.
And Buildcraft was an interesting automation mod, but the author was a bit weird. Like he made you pay like $5 to get the manual
Oh my
to
god.
understand the document, like to understand how the machine work.
Oh,
You have
probably
to go
because you
like,
can't charge for a mod, but you could charge for a manual. So if you make it complicated enough, you can then charge for something. And
well, that's the thing is that they all used to use ad.fly links to download, so you'd have to have some questionably served ad that you'd have to sit through to then download.
okay,
And all the Minecraft modders did it, and it was a massive pain.
okay,
Yeah, self-entitlement of Minecraft modders. Oh, man, it's just unlocking all kinds of rants there.
okay. So they're
Best
saying
memories.
WoW is similar to how Factorio is related to Minecraft. So Factorio is oddly loosely related to Minecraft, but that brings us to the one comment that I managed to track down from Covarex, where he mentions that Warcraft is an MMORPG, and he says you don't need to be online for it to be massive. So maybe just an MRPG, so multiplayer roleplay game.
Sure.
I'm trying to think back to like Baldur's Gate, the original Baldur's Gate. I played that. I played.
I remember that game.
What was the one before that?
Uh,
I want to say
the
RimWorld, but that's not
the
right.
name always escapes me.
It was the one. Neverwinter Nights. Neverwinter Nights. Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah, Neverwinter Nights. I think I played that one too.
Morrowind. Morrowind.
No, that's the Elder Scrolls.
No, what was it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the one before it that
I think it was Neverwinter
it was like
Nights.
the one of the first to the earliest of the big ones that wasn't RuneScape.
Neverwinter Nights was a
EverQuest.
series. EverQuest? No. I think it was Neverwinter Nights that was directly led to Baldur's Gate. Well, maybe it was Baldur's Gate led to Neverwinter Nights. I can't remember. But
Yeah, it's all a blur now.
it's
They all
all
came up at the same time.
early 2000. It was one developer that did really well with the first one, and then they moved on to the second and the third, and they made a whole series of roleplay games. And I actually admit I'm a sucker for roleplay games. I really, really enjoy them. So much so that I've actually banned myself from playing them. I'm not allowed to play them at all because they just
No Ultima for you.
no. Diablo was the only one I allowed myself to play. Okay, because Diablo is really just a hack and slash. There's a lot less to it, and it was a game that you could play for a little bit and then quit. But even then, I haven't. I picked up Diablo 4 and I played it for not many hours, considering the ridiculous amount of money I spent on it. I haven't looked at the DLC. I'm not interested. I guess we've just moved on. But yeah. I don't know. Like we've said it, or at least I've said it many times. I expected them to go to an RTS, definitely an RTS, because they've made a lot of RTS references over the years.
Yeah, they've leaned a lot on RTS, and I've sort of forgotten it now for most of the details, but they seem to be a bit leaning that way at the land as well.
So yeah, I was actually expecting an RTS, but maybe a roleplay game of some sort will work. I don't know. It's definitely going to be a different audience.
Just thought of the idea of a Baldur's Gate where you do extreme automation.
Look, I'm actually thinking like maybe an RPG game where I get to automatically roll a character every so often that then automatically goes off and gets things.
What was that game called?
What?
I just thought of it, automating questing.
There was one recently.
There was one early to mid 2000s where you'd put up bounties to make NPCs that you couldn't directly control do quests. And it was also a city builder.
There was
I can't think of it.
one. There was actually one recently where you ran a tavern, and
Tavern Keeper Simulator.
you ran a
2024?
tavern, but the tavern was like you'd hand out the quests, and then RPG or NPCs would show up. They get the quests. They go and complete some of the quests. They then bring you back the loot. You then have to give them their reward. Blah 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 blah. And then you could take the items they got and then craft them into something and then turn around and sell them. And if you made good business decisions, you made a very healthy running tavern. If you made bad decisions, then bad things happen. You failed. Yep. I don't remember. what it was called, but Tavern Master, Tavern something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those crappy tavern manager games.
It was sort of automating the whole process at the same time. I know. Potion Master, I think it was another recent one that came out like a year ago or something, which had some sort of similar. You could give quests to people and they could go get you stuff and bring it back. There's been a couple of them. That have touched on it. Maybe that's what they'll go into. I don't know. But yes, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's weird. We're not going to know for like 7 years, 13.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
They'll probably announce something prior to that. They'll probably announce, something. The question is, do they go for the whole Kickstarter route again, or do they just like fund it themselves?
Just go direct.
Yeah.
Or something.
We do know that whatever it is, that's never going to have a sale ever, and and the price will probably only ever go up. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But with that done, we're done with the Friday Facts. There's nothing else to add.
We're done.
I guess we'll be back next time there's a Friday Facts to show up for 439, which is just an odd number to restart on and an odd number to end on.
It just skips 439 and just goes straight to 440.
Yeah, but maybe
And just make everyone wonder where 439 went.
It was sitting there just like that email that I sent you that I forgot to click the send button on. It's saved as a draft somewhere. It's fine. All right, with all that said and done, I think we're going to leave this here for this Friday Facts. As always, thank you for joining us. It's been a blast. This whole Friday Facts adventure has been a blast.
Been great.
As is 2.0. And I guess I'll see you next time on Glebber, right, Mojo? You're going to meet me on Glebber, or is it going to be a Quillo this time?
Definitely Glebber.
Okay, all right, Glebber it is. All right, with all that said and done, as always, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.